Shalom, shalom. My name is Yadon Yasharal. I'm with Savior Word of Yah, Tabernacles of the Congregation of Israel. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another one of our weekly Bible studies.
Having a bit of technical difficulty.
Trying to really get streaming and get going. But we're doing the best we can to continue forward. So the Bible study for today, with us getting close to getting to election and all that type of stuff, we're going to talk about nationality, citizenship, and religion. Nationality, citizenship, and religion. So we're going to take a look at that concept so we can understand the difference between the two, the three actually, and how we can use that to our advantage and how that pertains to us. Being the only people in this country that do not have an actual nationality. So we're going to open that up in Acts. But before we get started, again, we are Savior Word of Yah. If you haven't downloaded our application, take a look at our application. Our application is on Apple Store as well as Google Play. It's israelitesgathering.com. It's a free app that you can download on either application. You can get instant messaging where you can send us instant messages with questions or comments, or if you want to share some information, you can do that. We also have a place where you can advertise your business for brew businesses. So we have that as well established. So definitely take advantage of that. Send us your information on the app so we can put you up on the pages, and then we can support you as a nation. So that's what we're trying to do. So again, the title of our Bible study today is Nationality, Citizenship, and Religion. So what is our nationality? American? And are we even citizens? So what is that pertaining to us, and how does religion play into the fold? So we're going to take a look at all of that in this Bible study. So first, let's open up in Acts chapter 21. Acts chapter 21. Let's get a look at what a citizen is. So we're going to the book of Acts chapter 21. And we're going to start this at verse 27. All right, so we're going to pull up the scripts. Let's do a new share so you can read along with us. All right. All right, so we got the scripts back working. This Shabbat, for whatever reason, the scripts just would not pull up. It would not pull up. So we had some issues with that, but praise Yah. Everything is working good so far. The audio seems to be good. So if we have any issues or anything like that, by all means, message us, chime in, comment, let us know. All right, so we're at Acts chapter 21. So let's pull up Acts chapter 21. And we're going to start that at verse 27. We're going to read that all the way into chapter 22 and verse 3. So the book of Acts, chapter 21 and verse 27. And when the 7 days were almost ended, the Yahudim, which were of Asia, when they saw him in the temple, stirred up all the people and laid hands on him. So what 7 days are they talking about? They're probably talking about unleavened bread, if you read back up here. But anyways, crying out, men of Israel, help. This is the man that teaches all men everywhere against the people and the law in this place, and further brought Greeks also into the temple and had polluted this holy place. For they had seen before with him in the day in the city Trophimus, an Ephesian whom they supposed that Saul had brought into the temple. And all the city was moved, and the people ran together, and they took Saul and drew him out the temple, and forthwith the doors were shut. And as they went about to kill him, tidings came unto the chief captain of the band that all Jerusalem was in an uproar, who immediately took soldiers and centurions and ran down unto them. And when they saw the chief captain and the soldiers, they left beating of Paul. Then the chief captain came near, took him, and commanded him to be bound with 2 chains, and demanded who he was and what he had done. And some cried one thing, some another, among the multitude. And when he could not know the certainty for the tumult, he commanded him to be carried into the castle. And when he came upon the stairs, so it was that he was borne of the soldiers for the violence of the people. So they had to basically carry Paul in. He was beat so much. And shalom, shalom to my brother Dre Day. Good to see you, family. He said, we almost home, brothers and sisters. Just hold on and be strong. We close. And that's such a needed message, brother, because, you know, we all hanging on by a thread. But we can see by prophecy and things going on in the earth that it's almost there. So that's why we get in these scripts, so that we can be reminded of the blessings that's ahead of us. So hallelujah. Great comment, brother. All right. So they had to carry this brother in. They was beating him so much. Verse 37. And as Saul was to be led into the castle, he said unto the chief captain, may I speak unto you? Who said that? Can you speak Greek? Are not you that Egyptian, which before these days made an uproar and led us out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers? So the Greeks captains are looking at him like, wait a minute, how you speak Greek? Aren't you an Egyptian? So they looking at this brother and they seeing burnt brown skin. They seeing brown skin versus the maybe very light in complexion Greeks. So they're saying, wait, aren't you an Egyptian? So I wonder what the Egyptians look like. Well, we know what the Egyptians look like. So if the Israelites were mistaken for Egyptians, just like Moses was mistaken for an Egyptian, then that tells you what the Israelites look like. Not Greeks. They don't look like Greeks. They look like Egyptians. Verse 39. But Paul said, I'm a man which am a Yahudim of Tarsus, a city in Sicily, Cilicia, a citizen of no mean city. And I beseech you, suffer me to speak unto the people. So he's calling out his citizenship, Cilicia. So he is a Greek by citizenship. So let's look at that word for citizen and let's see what that definition was in the Greek. So that's verse 39. And we're looking at a citizen. So that's G 4177. And that's polities, almost like politic, right? Polities or polites. And that's literally from G 4172, which is polis, a town, right? And it is literally saying a townsman. So if we go back to that again, the root word is a town. It's townsman, a citizen. So this is somebody of the town. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're of any specific culture. That just means of a town. So your citizenship is just where you live. Your township, where you're part of a community, a town, a place. That's all that is. That's not your race or your nationality. That is your domain where you live. All right, so let's see how he uses that to his advantage. Because they thought he was an Egyptian, they was just going to beat him up and throw him in jail to figure out what was going on. But now that he's identifying as a citizen of Rome, Let's see what happens. Verse 40. And when he had given him license, Saul stood on the stairs and beckoned with the hand unto the people, and there was made a great silence. He spake unto them in the Hebrew tongue. So he's a Hebrew speaking in the Hebrew tongue to the Hebrews. All right, so we're going to 22. Men, brethren, and fathers, hear you my defense, which I make now unto you. And when they heard that he spake in the Hebrew tongue to them, they kept the more silent. And he said, I am verily a man which am a Yahudim born in Tarsus, a city in Cilicia, yet brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel, and taught according to the perfect manner of the law of the fathers, and was zealous towards Elohim, as you all are this day. So he's identifying, not only am I a citizen of Rome, he used that so that the Romans could give him an opportunity to speak to his people, or they would have just took him and threw him in jail. He used that, and then he went also and went into his actual nationality. I am a Hebrew of a Yahudim born of Tarsus in Cilicia. So there you have your citizenship, which he sold was of Rome, and he gave his nationality. So now let's go to Genesis 10 and let's look at this nationality. Genesis chapter 10, and this is called the table of the nations. This is where all the nations of the earth are labeled. All right, so we're going to Bereshit, Genesis chapter 10. Bear with me 1 second, brothers and sisters. All right, we're going to Genesis, Bereshit, chapter 10. And we're going to start that at verse 1. All right. Bereshit, Genesis chapter 10 and verse 1. Bear with me 1 second. Computer acting up. All right. Now, these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So we have to understand that at the time of the flood, these are the bloodlines that repopulated the entire earth. So ultimately, the earth is split into three basic bloodlines: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So you either Shemite, which they call Semitic, right? Hamite, which is Hamitic, or Japhethite, which is of Japheth. All right. So, and unto them were sons born after the flood. So he's going over the first bloodline here, the sons of Japheth. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tyrus. So some of the ones that stick out are Magog, which is like the Russia and Madai area, Russia, and then Javan are the Greeks, and Gomer, I think, is the Germans. And the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, that's where you get Ashkenazi Jew, which is the German, Russian type Jews, right? Those are the Ashkenazi. So they telling you they're Ashkenazi. So they showing you they're of the seed of Japheth. So they're not bloodline Israel. That's why they can call themselves Jewish, because they like unto Jews, but they're not. And they're telling you by their own bloodline in the Torah that they claiming that is theirs. All right. So the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. The sons of Javan, Elisha, Tarshish, which is Spain, Kittim, which is also Rome, and Dodanim. By these were the isles of the Gentiles divided in their lands, everyone after his tongue, after their families and their nations. And when you see that word Gentiles, we were taught that, these are the Gentile nations, those nations that are just of Japheth. But no, Gentiles just means nations in Hebrew, which is Goy or Goyim, meaning nations. So it's not a different word for Gentiles. It just means nations. So these are the isles of the nations divided in their lands. Verse 6, and the sons of Ham, Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan. All right, so the sons of Ham, these are the Hamite, Ham meaning warm, right? Cush, which is Ethiopia, Mizraim, which is Egypt, and that's why Ethiopians and Egyptians and Israelites are very similar in look. Phut and Canaan, and Phut, I believe, is Libya. And the sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah, Sapta, Ramah, Saptica, and the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before Yahweh. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yahweh. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calme in the land of Shinar. So that's Babylon. Out of the land went forth Asher, and builded Nineveh, and the city Rehoboth, and Calah. And reason between Nineveh and Calah, the same is a great city. And Mizraim begot Ludanim, and Anamim, and Lahabim, and Nephtuhim, and Pathrusim, and Cashluhim, out of whom came the Philistines. So the Cashluhim is where the Philistines and the Caphtorim came from. So the Caphtor is the island, Caphtorim are the people of that island, and the Philistines, that's where they came from. And they left from that island and went into the land of Israel and went into a land that was not theirs. Verse 15, and Canaan begat Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusite, and the Amorite, and the Girgasite. Now the Jebusite was the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and the Hivite, and the Archite, and the Sinite, and the Arvadite, and the Semorite, and a Hamathite, and afterward were the families of the Canaanites spread abroad. And the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon, and you comes to Gerar unto Gaza, as you goes unto Sodom and Gomorrah, and Admah, and Zeboim, even unto Lasha. These are the sons of Ham after their families, after their tongues, in the countries and in their nations. Now, when you look at that word where it say nations, it would just say Goyim. The same word that say Gentiles up here. Same word. All right, so it's a doctrine that they put. They're saying that Gentiles are only the Japhethites, but that's not true. Gentile just means nations, and every other nation is nation except for Yasharal, because we are the nation of Yasharal, which means we are the separated nation out of all the nations. All right, so now we on to Shem. So if you're claiming anti-Semitic, you have to be against anybody who's from 21 down, because everybody up is from 20 up is not Semitic. Shem, anybody who come from Shem is Semitic. And you can't be Hebrew if you didn't come from Shem. All right, so Genesis 10 and 21. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam, which is, I believe, India, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. Aram is Syria. And the children of Aram, Uz, Ul, Gether, and Mash. And Arphaxad begot Salah, and Salah begot Eber. And unto Eber were born two sons. The name of the one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Yoktan. So we know that from this point here, after Eber's sons, Peleg was the son in which there was Pangea at that time when the land was locked together. So it was separated and spread at the time of Peleg. And his brother's name was Yoktan. And Yoktan begot Almadad and Sheleph and Hasmerveth and Yirah and Hadaram and Uzal and Diklah and Obal and Abiel and Sheba and Ophir and Havilah and Jobab. All these were the son of Joktan. Now, Ophir or the gold of Ophir is what they talk about, or Ophir is where one of the theories of the word Africa came from, land of gold. All right. And their dwelling was from Mesha as you go unto Sephar, a mount of the east. And when you look at Sephar, you have people saying they're Sephar VM. That means they're of Sephar or possibly Sephardic. You might be Hebrew, but you might be identifying yourself as a branch that not even from Abraham, a branch that didn't come from Abraham, but was still Hebrew. These are the sons of Shem after their families, after their tongues, in their lands, after the nations. These are the families of the sons of Noah after their generations, in their nations, and by these were the nations divided in the earth after the flood. So this is all the nationalities are right here. These are all the ancient nationalities. Anything that came after this is just more of a citizenship type situation that somebody created a territory. These are the bloodline nationalities. So that's the difference between citizenship. You can move in between any of the places where these people that of these bloodlines descended from and be a citizen, but you can't just automatically be a Hamite if you a Yaphethite, or you can't be a Semite if you of Japheth. So we got to understand that concept. So let's look at our nationality. So we're the children of Israel. Let's look at our nationality. Let's go to Exodus chapter 19. And let's see how that nationality affects all of us. Think, whether we know it or not, we're affected. The children of Israel are specifically affected by their nationality. So we're going to Exodus, Shemot, chapter 19. Because when we lose our nationality, we get caught up in citizenship. And in citizenship, it's bound by the rules of that place, that domicile. You know what I'm saying? So you can be caught up in their ways. If this is a place like Sodom and Gomorrah, and you're a citizen of Sodom and Gomorrah, the citizens there are wicked. They doing all kind of bad Babylon business and abominable acts. That's going to affect you. So if you don't know that, hey, I'm of a different nationality, my nationality is about righteousness. We don't do that. And even though I'm brought up around this, that's not what my nation of people do. You're going to follow the same thing that your people around you are doing. And that's what happened to us here in America. We became Hellenized. We became Westernized, received a slave mentality because this was what was around us. We were around the Greeks. And furthermore, we're around the Greeks that were kicked out by the Greeks. The Westerners, the Romans, they kicked out the deviants. And we were raised around those people, and we picked up a lot of those abominable, deviant behaviors. But once we learn our citizenship of who we are, we can reverse that and start to say, you know what? Our nationality tells us we're supposed to act this way versus the citizenship allows me to do what I want. Like they talk about in Maccabees, how you had certain Hebrews went and got licensed to the Greeks to do against the law, to do things that were against Yah's law. That's what that citizenship gave them. But your nationality is going to ultimately rule you as the children of Israel, whether you know it or not. So Exodus, Shemot chapter 19, and we're just going to read 1 through 8. Verse 1. In the 3rd month, when the children of Yasharal were gone forth out of the land of Mizraim, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim and were come to the desert of Sinai and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Yasharal camped before the mount. And Moshe went up unto Elohim, and Yahweh called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shall you say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Yasharal, you have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. So that is our nationality. That's what we were inheriting. That we were inheriting this covenant, this marriage vows with the Most High, to be selected to be his special treasure. Peculiar means special, rare, treasure. And above unto him, a treasure to the Creator, above all the people on the earth. That is our nationality, whether we know it or not. So a diamond is still a diamond, whether the diamond is conscious that it's a diamond. It's still a diamond. Anybody that handles it. And anybody in the properties of the diamond, it's still a diamond. But if you take the diamond and you use it as a paperweight or whatever, then it's not being used for its purpose. It's supposed to be precious. It's supposed to be in jewelry, right? Well, it's the same thing with us. So how much better when that diamond is put to use and can be used to make lasers and all kind of things. Verse 6. And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. So all the men of Israel are supposed to be servants. That's what a priest is, an officiator. Servants of the Most High. And we are supposed to be a holy nation, men, women, and children, a set apart nation. That's what holy means. Set apart. That's why we are the nation and they are goyim, nations. Because everybody else is a nation and we the nation to the Most High. Verse 7. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which Yahweh commanded. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahweh has spoken, we will do. And Moshe returned the words of the people unto Yahweh. So we said, I do. We will do. So we agreed to obey Yah's voice, his word. We agreed to keep his covenant, which is his promise, his marriage vow. And in turn, he keeps his word and we become a peculiar treasure above all people. And we will be a kingdom of priests and a Kodesh nation. We agreed. So that is our nationality. You can't just become a citizen of that and become the nationality of that. You can't. You can become a citizen, but you can't just become the nationality unless you were born in that nationality. All right, so let's move on. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17. Oh, excuse me. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Devarim, Deuteronomy chapter 28. So this is one of the most famous verses and one of the wake up chapters, which really is just our undeniable, our haymaker identifiers of who we are in this body. So this is what comes with our nationality. Blessings and curses. So we already read the blessing. We're going to be high above everybody. peculiar treasures. Now he can break it down, but ultimately we want to look at what we're experiencing, because we're not experiencing being the highest people above everybody. So Deuteronomy, Devarim, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if you will not listen unto the voice of Yahweh, your Elohim, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you this day, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you. That's talking to you. That's talking to one nation. That's not talking to all citizens, all of the people in the religion. No, this is talking to the nationality of Israel. Yasharal, not the state of Israel that came there in the 40s. No, the bloodline. So if we don't keep the law and agreement that our forefathers agreed for our nationality, then everybody in our nationality will receive the same curses. Verse 16. Cursed shall you be in the city, and cursed shall you be in the field. You can buy your house in New York City, or you could buy it way out in Tennessee. You're going to be cursed in both places if you ain't keeping these commandments. Cursed shall be your basket in your store. Everything you sell and everything you buy, cursed. Cursed shall be the fruit of your body, your children, and the fruit of your land, your crops, and the increase of your kind and the flocks of your sheep. So all your livestock, cursed. And look at the food now. The food we eat ain't even real. It's cursed because we are not in control. You have something like the USDA in control, not the children of Israel. It's cursed now. Cursed shall you be when you come in, and cursed shall you be when you go out. It don't matter where you at, where you coming or going. Yahweh shall send upon you cursing. And let's look at what cursing is so that we understand what that is. Because, yeah, they cursing us. They cussing at us, but that's not what that means. So Deuteronomy 28 and 20. We look at that word for cursing. Somebody say, stop cursing. That's an execration, miara. And that is to bitterly curse. So now actually that is curse. So that is to cuss, basically. So we'll be a cursing, right? Cursing, not imprecating, but we'll be bad names, vexation, rebuke, and all that you set your hand to do. So you're going to be warned and corrected every time you try to do something, because we're doing something wrong, until you be destroyed, until you perish quickly because of your wickedness of your doings, whereby you have forsaken me. So this is why we go through what we go through, why we last. We the most talented, we the strongest, but we last on the category. Yahweh shall make the pestilence cleave unto you until he have consumed you from off the land where you go to possess it. Yahweh shall smite you with a consumption, and with a fever, and with the inflammation, and with extreme burning, and with a sword, and with blasting, and with mildew. And they shall pursue you until you perish. So every type of disease and sickness and uncleanness sticks to us. Yet we are the strongest genetically. 23. And your heaven that is over your head shall be brass, and the earth that's under you shall be iron. No rain, look, the soil, horrible. If you look at the state of Israel right now, it's a desert. If they weren't able to pump in water, it would be completely desert. And they pumped in so much water out of the Jordan River, and I think it's the Jordan River they get their water from. The Jordan River almost dried out. Verse 24, Yahweh shall make the rain of your land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon you until you be destroyed. Yahweh shall cause you to be smitten before your enemies. You shall go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Now, find me one group of people where all of their people, of their nationality, was removed. That's the key word, removed. Not you migrated. No, you were removed forcibly. And not only were all your people removed, but you were removed into every kingdom of the earth. Nobody can claim that. Not even many Africans can't even claim that. It's a certain group of Afro-Asiatic people that can claim that came out of Western Africa and some of these other places where we came out of. Verse 26. And your carcass shall be meat unto all the fowls of the air and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. And that's what happened to us when they hung us from them trees, them strange fruit. We were meat for the fowls of the air. And when they put us to go to war from, they left our dead bodies out there, and animals was going amok on us. Verse 27. Yahweh will smite you with the botch of Mizraim and with emerods and with the scab and with the itch, whereof you cannot be healed. Just every kind of problem. To vitiligo, to the point where we losing color in our skin. Yahweh shall smite you with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. Now, we'll lose our mind. You see our people every day downtown Atlanta or downtown whatever metro city you live in. You see our people going crazy, talking to themselves on drugs or mental illness with parasites, all kind of issues. Blind, can't see. And blind, whether it be physically blind or blind spiritually, and a weak heart, just scared of everything. So scared they don't want to look at this truth because they're scared of it. That's a curse. Verse 29. And you shall grope at noonday, as the blind gropes in darkness, and you shall not prosper in your ways, and you shall be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save you. You shall betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. You shall build a house, you shall not dwell therein. You shall plant a vineyard, and shall not gather the grapes thereof. And yeah, all these big vineyards and these Martha's Vineyard and all this stuff. Man, the slaves planted all this stuff. The house that you build, that you'll never stay in the White House. You built that. You ain't gonna stay in there. Obama people can stay in there because Obama, he showed you where his bloodline is from. He told you his people ain't come from slaves. So if your people ain't come from slaves, you ain't an Israelite. Verse 31, your ox shall be slain before your eyes, and you shall not eat thereof. Your donkey shall be violently taken away from before your face, and shall not be restored to you. Your sheep shall be given unto your enemies, and you shall have none to rescue them. Your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people, and your eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in your hand. Now, who had their nation go through this? Their entire nation, all 12 tribes. Nobody. Everybody's experienced some of this. Well, a lot of people have experienced some of this, different nationalities, but nobody's had their whole nationality go through this to this day. The fruit of your land and all your labor shall a nation which you know not eat up, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed always. And what's this nation that we did not know? Because guess what? We just gave you the table of nations. We knew all them nations because we traded with all them. We taught them. So who's this nation that we did not know? It's a nation that did not exist. America. America, KKK. Verse 34. So that you shall be mad for the sight of your eyes, which you shall see. Yahweh shall smite you in your knees and in your legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed, from the sole of your foot unto the top of your head. Yahweh shall bring you and your king, which you shall set over you, unto a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known, and there shall you serve other gods, wood and stone. And that's why we are predominantly Christian with that cross that's made out of wood, or Islamic, and they literally circle a stone and kiss a stone. And then even if we are Israelite, many of us are Jewish, and we go over there kissing a wailing wall, learning our religion from people that literally took our nationality. Verse 37, and you shall become an astonishment, a proverb. And when you read the book of Proverbs, that's us. We literally the walking example of it. Bywords, Afro-American, we named after a haircut. African-American, we named after two different conquerors. Amerigo, the conqueror, and African, the Africans that conquered us, had us in slavery. Verse 38, and you should carry much seed out of the field and gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. So we'll stop right there. We don't have to go through the whole thing. And we know if we go all the way down to 68, this is what we inherited as well. And Yahweh shall bring you into Egypt again with ships. Well, when did we come to Egypt the first time with ships? We didn't. We walked into Egypt 40 years, right? We walked, well, excuse me, it didn't take 40 years to walk in Egypt, but we walked to Egypt. Took 40 years in the wilderness to get to our land, but we walked into Egypt. So this is supposed to be like a 40-day journey that took us 40 years. All right, so this ship, the good ship, Bom de Jesus, the good ship, Jesus, that's what brought us here to this modern day Egypt, land of our captivity. And it says, by the way of, I spake unto you, you shall see it no more again. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And that's why they call it the door of no hope. Because once you go out there, there ain't no hope of seeing you again, or seeing this land again. That's why it talks about the way of, I spake unto you, you shall see it no more again. And if you follow that trace, we came, many of us here in America, came out of Western Africa. What part of Western Africa? Mainly Ghana area, around there. How did we get there? Well, when Jerusalem fell in 70 AD, we fled into Africa to hide in those areas. And other areas we were brought into slavery. So that's our nationality. This was what comes with our nationality. You can't just join that. This is spiritual. That's why we can't follow the other nations, because we won't get the same result that they get. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 17. So we obviously chose to not follow Yah and to follow the nations and receive the punishment. So Jeremiah chapter 17. So our heritage, which is our land and our culture and our inheritance, was righteousness, was law, was covenant, was rulership, sovereignty. But we had to rule in righteousness, and we couldn't rule ourselves in righteousness. So we got the punishment that was part of the contract. Jeremiah chapter 17, and let's start this at verse 1. The sin of Yahweh is written with a pen of iron and with a point of a diamond. It is graven upon the table of their heart and upon the horns of your altars. While their children remember their altars and their groves by the green trees upon the high hills, O my mountain in the field, I will give your substance and all your treasures to the spoil, and your high places for sin throughout all your borders. See, this is why we are different. Our sin is written with a pen of iron, an iron pen. That's heavy. And a point of a diamond. It can cut through anything. And it's graven, which is the easiest thing to cut is the heart, right? That's simple. Very tissue paper, flesh. Well, they're using overkill to write this in our minds. The horns of your altars, your thought process. All right, verse 3. Oh, my mountain in the field, I will give your substance and your treasures to the spoil. So we the mountain and the government of Israel. Verse 4. And you, even yourself, shall discontinue from your heritage that I gave you. So we didn't have this heritage. He gave us these laws of righteousness, this land that we didn't plant and do all this stuff. He gave it to us. That he said we're going to discontinue from that. Our language, our understanding, our land, our culture, our name, everything. And I will cause you to serve your enemies in a land which you know not, for you have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever. That's what happened to our inheritance. That's what happened to our heritage. We suffered the penalty for violating the national law, the law that pertains to the nationality of the children of Yasharal. Let's go to Acts chapter 26. Let's stop right there. Acts chapter 26, and let's look at this religion. Just because you are of the same nationality don't mean you're going to be of the same religion, because people have free will to do what they want. And we're going to see an example of somebody in our nationality, but with a different religion in the Bible. So Acts chapter 26. And we're just going to read 1 through 5. Hey, never too late to be great, sis. That's why it's all, Sister Sharita, that's why it's all streaming and recorded. So you can always go back and watch the class. We tried to send a message out on the app. You should have got a message, but out, man, we've been fighting, just roadblocks. You know, you have to really be intentional to serve the Most High, because everything, the adversary going to try to do everything to make you give it up so you can default. Same thing with these classes, man. Every time you have a desire and you want to come and watch the class and the study or read on your own, something always comes up. That's when you got to fight through it. Now you know you're dealing with a spirit, because it shouldn't be this hard. It ain't that hard to do anything. It ain't that hard to turn on the TV, right? But it's always something. So we got to fight through it. We understand. We almost there. Like Brother Dre, they said in the beginning, we almost there. We got to hold on. We get frustrated. We get tired. We get beat down. Okay, you might, lose your patience. Once you come back to your spirit, you find yourself back to a car, back to one with Yah, and he'll work things out. So Acts chapter 26. Acts chapter, and we're grateful to be here, and we apologize. We do the best we can to deliver, but just know that it was Yah's will that we're able to do this. So Acts chapter 26 and verse 1. Then Agrippa said unto Saul, "You are permitted to speak for yourself." Then Saul reached forth his hand and answered for himself. "I think myself happy, King Agrippa, because I shall answer for myself this day before you, touching all the things whereof I'm accused of the Yahudim." So this is a few chapters after what we talked earlier, when they grabbed Saul. His own people grabbed him, of his own nationality, right? And he had to call on his citizenship of Rome, say, "Hey, is it lawful for you to grab a Roman like this?" And when they did that, he was brought before the people and he was able to talk. And that's when he gave his nationality. Look, I'm a Hebrew. I'm an Israelite. And now we're getting into his religion. All right. So he's brought all the way to Agrippa, using his citizenship, so they got to use the law of the Romans to his advantage. And now he's before King Agrippa, and he's trying to brown nose a little bit so he saved his life. Verse 3, "Especially because I know you to be expert in all customs and questions which are among the Yahudim. Wherefore I beseech you to hear me patiently. My manner of life from my youth, which was at first among mine own nation at Jerusalem, know all the Yahudim. So he letting you know what his nationality is. His nation is of the Yahudim, which know me from the beginning, if they would testify that after the most straightest sect of our religion, I lived a Pharisee. So now we talking religion. So let's take a look at religion. So keep in mind, at the time of Saul, you had Edomites in control. Herod was the king of Israel. So this is a whole different citizenship going on now, because the nationality has been changed. All right, so let's look at that word for religion. G2356. Threskeia or Threskia. And that's the derivative of G2357, Threska, which is ceremonial observance, religion, worshiping. So our ceremonial observance is your religion, right? So he's of the most straightest sect of the religion. So there's different sections of this religion because, again, every man doing as they please. There shouldn't be no sects of the religion. It should be Yah's word, period. That's it. And he said a Pharisee. So let's look at a Pharisee. So if you look at a Pharisee, it's G5330 from Phariseos. And the Hebrew origin of that is supposed to be parash, which is to separate. Now, I don't know how you get Pharisee from parash, but parash was the Hebrew root word, which is to, to separate oneself. All right, so he's a Pharisee, G5330, which is Phariseos, and that's a separatist, that is exclusively religious. A Pharisee, that is a Jewish sectary. All right, so that's religious. Oh, I'm too clean, I can't be around you. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. That's not, how you gonna be a doctor? You can't be around the sick. We're supposed to be doctors of the law. So that was the religion that he was in. He was taught all those weird customs, but he was brought up under Gamaliel, and Gamaliel was one of the wisest of the Pharisees. This is the one that spoke on Mashiach, said, leave him alone. What happened to all the fake Christs? They all died. Whatever happened to them is going to happen to him if he fake. If not, you ain't going to be able to stop him. And they had to leave him alone. All right, so let's go to the conclusion. We're going to go to James chapter 1. So we know that this Pharisee religion is a sect. So that's not something we really want to be dealing with, sects. We want to be dealing with the truth, not religioso. All right, so we're going to James, Jacob chapter 1. We're going to start that at verse 19. So James chapter 1. And we're going to start that at verse 19 for the conclusion. James chapter 1, we're going to start at verse 19. And we're going to go this through verse 27. And if you hung in here and you hung in to watch this class, after this past several weeks, we getting audio problems, streaming problems, lagging, we got high quality internet here. We got a MacBook Pro. We iPhones. How much better can it get? But they're not making it easy on us. They're making their play in many different ways. And I'm not the only one going through this. I talk to many different mores and many different assemblies. They all going through these similar struggles. But you gotta be intentional about this. You can't sit on the sideline. You got to be intentional about who you are, what you represent, and what's going to lead your life. Because the world and the adversary and the unclean spirits that are running amongst us now are going to utilize their job to keep you off the path. And it's just too much. They've been doing it for so long, before we was even born, this has been going on. So we have to depend on our faith and our devoutness and our study and our understanding of this word, so that we don't be confused. And then when we do fall victim to the flesh, we have something, a light that can guide us back, to the path. Because the flesh could darken our eyes where we can't see, but it's this light is what lights up our path. So let's go to James chapter 1, and let's take a look at religion, pure religion, if we're going to be in a religion, how we should be. James chapter 1 and verse 19. What sect of that religion we supposed to be in if we're going to be in a religion? Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. Well, I'm quick to speak and quick to wrath. Man, slow to hear. So that's something that cuts me to the heart, that I personally got to work on. Verse 20. For the wrath of man work not for righteousness of Elohim. Ain't no time where I was wrathful and righteousness came out my mouth. Righteousness was an action that I did. Nah, I got to check that wrath first. Humble myself, calm down before I can let righteousness come out. You're not going to get bitter and sweet from the same source. Verse 21. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls. But be you doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he's like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass. For he beholds himself and goes his way, and straightway forgets what manner of man he was. And that's what we do when we read the scripts. And then we create this image in our head of this person that we think we are. But then what happens? We look in the mirror and we see our faults, our flaws, and then we walk away, we forget, because we want to believe a certain image of ourselves. But we have to not only be hearers of this word, but doers of the word. And doers of the word don't mean you're not going to make mistakes. It don't mean you're not going to transgress the law. It means that when you do transgress the law, you're going to have a humble and contrite spirit. You're going to try to repent. You're going to ask for forgiveness. You're going to try to restore. That's what makes you a doer of the word. Verse 25. But whoso looks into the perfect law of liberty and continue therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. Because in the perfect law of liberty, all you got to do is give a perfect attempt. That's like saying, listen, you got to shoot a half-court shot. All he asking you to do is give it your best shot. And you good. But you going, nah, I ain't gonna shoot. I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna throw a football the other direction. Wait, he's saying shoot the basket, do this. And he's giving you the perfect law of liberty. Give me the perfect attempt. I got somebody. That's like LeBron James standing on the other side while you throw the ball down. And he just catches it and slam dunks, does the alley-oop. That's what y'all doing for us. All we got to do is give the perfect attempt. But we don't even want to try, because that would admit that we messed up. Verse 26. If any man among you seem to be religious and bridles not his tongue, but deceives his own heart, this man's religion is in vain. And that's why I don't care how many years you've been teaching, how many people you done immersed or converted or helped, or how many people in your assembly, if you cannot bridle that tongue, that doesn't mean just when you're angry. Also means when you're excited. It also means when you know something that somebody else doesn't know, or or a secret that you're not supposed to tell. Your business, you're not supposed to be spreading somebody else's business, tail bearing. All that is bridling the tongue. Your religion is vain if you cannot do that. So again, these are the things that's supposed to cut us to the heart so that we could be doers of the word and say, you know what? I'm not bridling that tongue. So let me be a doer of the word and let me work on it. Verse 27. So we talking about sects of religion, right? Well, if you're going to be in a sect and you're going to be in a religion, this is the sect of the religion you're supposed to be in. Pure religion and undefiled before Elohim and the Father is this: to visit the fatherless. That's the people that have no God, no spirituality, or the children that have no fathers, no father figure, which is our nation in a whole, basically without a father figure. And widows in their affliction. So we got to be very mindful of widows, or how we deal with women that serve their husbands all the way into death. And now they're out here without a covering. We're supposed to be there for them in their affliction and to keep himself unspotted from the world. Now, you can't keep yourself from the world. So being in the world, you're going to get spotted. But that means you have to be in a constant phase of repentance and cleanliness, cleansing yourself of your mistakes, because you're going to make them. People going to push your last nerve, cause you to lose your patience, say things you shouldn't say. Look what they did to Moshe. Moshe ended up smiting the rock. Yah said, speak to the rock. He ended up smiting the rock. That's what our people can do. But you keep yourself unspotted, which means, okay, I see myself being worldly. I see myself being carnal, and I'm griming up my wedding garment. Let me stop. Let me refill my oil. Let me calm down. Let me get back in this word. Let me not act like this word isn't the answer to everything. And let me, get myself back to one, because that's who I am. If that's who you are. But if that's not who you are, and you're just a hearer of the word, you're not going to do that. So let's not be hearers only, but doers. And let us live by this nationality that was given to us. A nationality of righteousness, of royalty, of sovereignty, so that we can go back into our nation and be citizens in our own land again, and not citizens of the places of our captivity. And we can worship the Most High and serve the Most High in a pure religion. So that's all we're going to do today. Again, we are Savior Word of Yah, Tabernacles of the Congregation of Israel. If you haven't, download our application. It's a free app on iPhone or Android. If you'd like to donate to us, you can donate directly off of YouTube, or you can go to our Cash App, which is $ S-word S-word ATL, which is sword ATL. And if you have anything of dry goods you'd like to donate, food, clothing, coats, anything that we could use as a people, we'll definitely redistribute that for you. So just reach out to us. You can reach out to us via the app, or you can email us at our email address at swordatl@gmail.com. So that's all we're going to do today. Yah's will, we will see you for Shabbat. If you're in your tabernacles, Samyak, Hag Sukkah. If you're in your atonement, I hope you have a very reflectful Kafarim or Kippur. And if not, Yah's will, we will see y'all for Shabbat. Shalom.